Sports Talk 790 Astroline. The official preseason show of Astros baseball. This is where we talk about your Astros. Join the show. Post your questions and comments on social media. Just be sure to hashtag Astroline.
That's how you do it.
Continue success and continue winning.
You're talking about a dynasty.
Live from West Palm Beach, Florida. Sports Talk 790 Astroline starts now.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our first spring training Astroline of 2026. We are live and direct from Duffy's Sports Bar and Grill on Clematis Street right here in beautiful downtown West Palm Beach, Florida. My name is Todd Callis. My co-host tonight is Steve Sparks. Glad you could join us. And Sparky, it is like the time of year where it is so exciting. Everybody's energized. Baseball is a grind. It's 162 plus hopefully more games in October and early November. But getting into that first day of spring training when you're finally ready to play Saturday, it seems like everybody's energized right now.
I think the players could probably say this more even than us, but I felt the extra long offseason because the Astros didn't go to the playoffs for just the second time since 2015. And I was raring to go, man. For the last few weeks, I couldn't wait to get down to spring training here in Florida. Got out to the fields today for the first time to see all those guys out there. And they're excited about getting back to the postseason and letting people know that they're the Houston Astros and they're going to be contenders.
We have a great show for you tonight. We have the skipper, the manager, Joe Espada, in the house. He's going to be our guest tonight. And we have three members of his coaching staff. We have the new catching coach, Tim Cousins, who is a new member of the coaching staff. Another new member is the hitting coach, Anthony Iapoce, and his family is here. And, of course, the bench coach and the manager of Team Venezuela. Get ready for that game on March 3rd between the Astros and Team Venezuela. Omar Lopez is in the house. So we have a lot of great people here. And, of course, our great friends, Don and Jim and Jan, who are always here for the first show. Thank you for showing up. Sparky, you were there today.
Yep.
I was there today. You were going around the fields like you like to do. What did you see that kind of stood out on your first day here in camp?
You know, it was kind of a mission for me just to kind of say hello to some of the players. But for me, too, I just wanted to see Cristian Javier. You know, I think for him last year when he's coming off the surgery, coming back off of rehab, I don't think we saw the Cristian Javier that we knew from pre-injury.
Yep.
So to see him throw today live is what I really wanted to see and how he stacked up against some of the hitters. And I was just telling you before the show, it was really exciting to see the ball coming out of his hand the way it does, the invisible fastball. But he looked fantastic. The ball's coming out nice and free. His shoulder, I kind of, in my mind, I feel like sometimes guys look a little gummy in their shoulder where it looks like it decelerates from time to time. And I saw that with him, quite frankly, on occasion last year. But this year, man, it looks really free and easy. And I think that's exciting.
The theme of Astros Spring Training 2026, and we'll talk to Joe about this in a little while, it's competition. Obviously,
big time.
Infield is pretty stacked. Outfield has some possibilities, and starting rotation has some possibilities. Bullpen has some possibilities. So there's going to be some jobs to be won here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, guys are going to have to perform, and I think that's what every GM tries to create. Every general manager is going to try to get enough guys in there where guys have to raise their level of their game and pitch to the best of their ability or play to their best ability to make a 26-man major league roster. And it's not going to be easy for the Astros, especially on the margins. There's going to be probably 5 or 6 jobs up for grabs.
I wrote down no fewer than 11 or 12 names for the potential
Starters.
5 or 6-man rotation.
Yeah.
And as a guy who has been there before where you're trying to make a team, you have to kind of, as a starter, you don't want to gas too early, right?
It's unbelievable.
You're competing from day one, but you have to kind of bide your time, right?
I almost threw up when you just mentioned that, just feeling what I used to feel like in spring training because I didn't have a guaranteed roster spot typically. And, some guys do. 3 or 4 guys will typically have roster spots going into the rotation, and they can just kind of ramp up. They'll throw 1 inning and then 2 innings and then 3 innings and hopefully get to 5 innings by the time spring training's over, and they feel great about it. But the other guys, like Steve Sparks back when he was pitching, I had to fight for my life. I had to get guys out, and to try to do that and not really pace yourself like the luxury of some of these pitchers is a little bit different. So there's plenty of those guys out there, not only on the pitching side, but on the hitting side too.
We have a lot to talk about with the skipper, Joe Espada. We are just getting underway on our first Astroline show of Spring Training 2026. We're going to be here all spring long at Duffy's right here on Clematis Street. And congratulations to Cedric, the new GM here. He does a great job helping us out. And also our server, D, is outstanding as well. Hey, the 2026 Bruce Bolt College Classic benefiting the Astros Foundation will return to Dyken Park February 27th through March the 1st. You can see the top collegiate talent, including University of Texas, UTSA, Coastal Carolina, Ole Miss, Baylor, and Ohio State. You can get tickets now at astros.com/college classic. We're ready to go with the manager of your Houston Astros. Joe Espada will be on the headset when we come back. You're listening to the Astros offseason official podcast right here on Sports Talk 790.
Tickets are on sale now for the World Baseball Classic in Houston. Dyken Park hosts Pool B play from March 6th to the 11th, featuring global titans like the United States, Mexico, Italy, Brazil, and Great Britain. Get your seats now as games are selling out quickly. Tickets are also on sale for the quarterfinals, set to take place on March 13th and 14th. Learn more and purchase your tickets today at astros.com/WBC.
Welcome back to Astroline, the Astros official spring training show. It's our first show from West Palm Beach, Florida, as we are down here getting ready for our first game on Saturday. The Astros and the Nationals, who share the Cacti Ballpark in the Palm Beaches, will be playing the first game of the season. And our manager of the Houston Astros has joined us here. Sparky, you probably aren't aware of this. Last time Joe Espada was on Astroline, he actually co-hosted from Austin, Texas.
That's right.
He almost took your job that day. He did that well.
No. It wasn't that good.
It was
pretty good, but it wasn't that good.
You want my job, don't you?
One day.
Joe, welcome. How you doing?
Thank you. You mentioned Saturday their first game. I could share the lineup right now with you.
Really?
Yeah, what do you think?
Breaking news?
Yeah, what do you
Who's
think?
leading off?
Omar, who's leading off? Is it Cole or Matthews on Saturday?
Zach Cole.
Zach Cole is
So
leading
that's
off.
going to be the first hitter of spring training.
There you go.
This is really breaking news, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, so let's go through the lineup. Let's see what we got.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, it's Cole, Matthews, Smith, Loperfido, DeCenso, Wickham, Bush, Allen, and Sally.
So a lot of Salazar, obviously, but
Yeah,
a lot of
Salazar.
people know those names with the exception of Bush.
Yes, he's the youngest guy in camp. Left-handed hitter.
Big power.
Super strong.
Big power. Junior college out of Tyler.
And just learning how to catch, can play some first base, makes a ton of contact, line drives. We want him to hit the ball more in the air, but we're really impressed with his first year in pro ball. He's doing some things very well. So he's going to get a tryout there.
Do you
first game.
anticipate that he's going to stick at catcher? I know he plays some first.
Yes, but it's so early because he's so young. So we're excited about the bat.
Yeah.
So we're gonna find him a place where he can help us defensively.
He can hit some tanks.
Yes, he can.
How about that? We have a scoop the first 2 minutes that Joe Espada joins us.
There you go.
On our
Yeah.
first
What
Astros.
else
There you
got?
go.
All right, let's talk about your number 2 hitter, Bryce Matthews. That
Yes.
day he's playing second base on
Yes.
Saturday. What are the plans for Bryce this spring?
Yeah. So some second base. We're gonna give him some innings in center field. I'm really gonna. I want him to start a game at center or start a game at second base, and then I'm going to send him out to the outfield or vice versa. Just want to give him a look at multi-positioning during the game. He's super athletic. I might ask of him to do that during the season. So we're going to give him a shot, but it's all going to come down to how ready the bat is. We all saw what he did in Arizona, but we want to see more consistency in his approach so we could get more of those results.
How does Bryce Matthews handle when you tell him, hey, we want you to play multiple positions? He came up as a shortstop, first rounder. He handles it well, I would assume.
Yes, and anything just to make the club and help the team win.
Okay.
And I really high on him just because his athleticism and the fact that every year he's gotten better on both sides of the ball. Anytime you have that athleticism, he's coachable and knowledgeable and understands what it takes, he's got a chance.
You've got 3 guys that are – the outfield's intriguing
Very
to
interesting.
me. And
Yep.
you got 3 guys that are playing in that first game that seem like they're going for spots.
Yes.
Cam Smith, Joey Loperfido, Zach Cole, all in that lineup.
Yes.
How do you view this spring and what's available for these potential outfielders?
So not only who's going to start in the outfield, but also constructing our bench, right? So obviously we know Jake Myers, his ability to play center field.
Yep.
So we know if he can start in center, but then how are we going to take care of the corners? I'm going to have Jordan play some left. So now here's some left field and right field. Who's going to get most of those reps? So those are the questions that we're gonna try to answer. And it's some of those guys are in the mix. Loperfido, I'm going to get Trammell also a look.
Yep.
He did really well for us last year. I really like his quality at bats off the bench. So it's going to be fun to watch. And we're going to start from day number one. This guy's going to get a ton of games, and they're going to answer the questions for us.
We don't talk about the bench very often, but what do you look for in a good bench player?
Number one, we could start with Nick Allen. I think when you put in a bench together, you want someone who catches the ball on all four infield positions.
Major field tool.
He can just flat out catch the ball. His instincts, his ability to understand what it takes, where to be at all times. He could do all those things. So obviously he's that one piece. And then you're also looking for that fourth outfielder, which we just kind of talked about that. So whoever's not starting, one of those guys will be on the bench.
Do you want that fourth outfielder to play all three?
Yeah, will be great. In case we have to defend for someone, or I have to run for someone, or hit for one of them. I want to have the flexibility to play all three. The backup catcher right now, we know that Sally's got the lead on that. We really like what he's done for a lot of years. Yep. He has put himself in a really good position to take over that spot, and then that other spot will be just kind of who can give us an at bat off the bench, or who could play some first outfield, somebody that can steal a base. So there's a lot of questions here for us. So once we
match
get going,
up against velocity.
Yeah, just there's all this, all these outfielders. They all on paper kind of look the same. So who can cover the top part of the zone? Who can handle the low part of the zone? Who could come off the bench? You could get a walk, or could hit a ball out of the ballpark. Yep. Right? Somebody comes off the bench. You want someone to make contact. So who can do all those things? So we're going to be challenging these guys and put them in a position that they could show us those things.
Crazy to think about, but at this time last year, we had Cam Smith on an Astroline show, and at that point, he was a third baseman. It wasn't until the middle of spring where he tried the outfield, and he ends up being a finalist for a Gold Glove in right field. You've talked about the versatility. He was only in right field last year, in his first year learning that position. Are you going to look to see him in other spots in the outfield? Yeah,
but we're going to also give him a look in center.
Okay.
And again, I learned a lot of things last year. It was when injuries happen, we're hoping that don't happen, but I've learned quickly that we have to try out some different things in case something happens. Our guys have been there, right? Mm-hmm. We have put him in a position where they know and they've been coached and they understand what it's going to take to at least hold the fort for a couple of weeks, right? So we are going to move these guys around and then figure out ways to, all right, who could get at bats? How can we develop these young players? I just don't want them sitting on the bench. Now, if they're going to be on the team, we want to make sure that they can fill in different positions and get enough at bats.
I'm thinking about Bryce Matthews, and I'm thinking about DeCenzo. What did you learn about Altuve's run in left field last year that kind of tells you what's the biggest challenge for an infielder going to the outfield?
Man, it's just balls off the bat. There's the slice, and there's there's so many in our ballpark challenging that wall, right? And then you go on the road, and now you got another 20, 30 feet to go back, and it's just not as easy as people think. And we asked Altuve to do it, and he was willing to do it. And this year, the plan is just to keep him at second base. But I like the willingness of our players to do whatever it takes to win. But we have to be more precise with how we put these guys in a position where we could get the best out of them.
When Sparky asked you about the bench, the first name you mentioned was Nick Allen.
Yep.
And for a guy who's probably hit 1 million, 2 million fungos in your life, you always focus on infield drills and what they look like with their hands. What has Nick Allen shown you early this spring?
Number one, that he catches everything, and it is not how pretty you look. It's It's about making the routine plays, and he has done it since the first day we saw him with the A's, right? Number two, how perception matters for an infielder, right? If you go from third, now you go up the middle, so you got to create some spacing between you and the ball, right? Some drop steps, and knowing where to go in cuts and relays, and he just knows where to go. So when you have a player like that if I have to run for a Paredes or a Walker or Carlos needs an off day, he's going to catch the ball. He's going to put the bat on the ball. He's going to run the base as well. All those little things, I don't have to worry about that with Nick. He can do small ball. He can bunt. He can safety. There's so many things that he brings to the game that just having someone that check all the boxes, it's just a really good feeling for a manager.
What's your initial impression of Paredes playing defense at second base?
Very good. We're gonna get him at first base here in the next couple of days. He's done it in the past. It's just trying to get him comfortable and being able to turn a double play. And I'm not concerned about him not catching the ball. It's just the extended plays, right? We want to make sure that he's healthy and he's able to catch it, finish plays, know where to go. So the next 5 weeks, figuring out how all this is going to play out is also something that I'm excited about.
That's one of the big storylines,
yeah,
right? And
it should be.
Yeah. Well, last year, Carlos Correa came over, and he was not only willing to go to third, he was excited about going to third. He talked about how his body felt so much better at third base than it did after a game at shortstop. Is he still going to back up Jeremy, or are you looking at Nick Allen as primarily the shortstop?
I'm looking at Nick being the backup shortstop. I think Carlos make the commitment to play third base, and we're going to keep him there. Can there be a possibility of Carlos starting one game? Yes, I just don't want to ask him to play shortstop too much because of he's committed to third base. Shortstop, you're asking too much of him, and right now he just wants to lock it in at third. And I think Nick is, just that's what we grab him. That's what we acquire him for.
I think CC, because he was just changing last year, didn't have really a different glove, but this year he said he changed gloves.
Yeah, I think the glove is 3/4 bigger.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you could take it.
It probably feels huge to him.
Yeah, but he's fooling around with different gloves, and I trust his ability. He'll be just fine.
What do you anticipate to be your toughest decision the last few days of spring training?
I'm going to go to the pitching. The rotation. We have certain guys that I feel like they're locked in there. And then it's always going to come down to the bottom two of that rotation. And then should we carry some of those guys that could be long guys, right? Mm-hmm. So we could protect some of the guys in the rotation and protect our back end and our bullpen. That's number one. Number two is it a 5 or a 6-man rotation, right?
Let me ask you something about that. So if it's a 6-man rotation, do you feel the luxury to push a guy an extra out or two, knowing that he's got an extra day of rest coming back?
Yes, but, for me, and this is, it's so early in camp, but our starters are not going to be built up enough where carrying a 6 from day one might be...
That's what I'm getting at.
The right thing to do.
So with one less reliever covering more 9 outs or more, it's going to be hard,
correct.
Right?
So my first initial reaction is you have 7 games. There's an off day. There's another stretch of 7, and there's another off day. And then you're getting along. So you can go 5, and then extend to 6-man once we go to the Rockies. So, but all is going to depend on where we are in our rotation. Imai is going to throw a light BP tomorrow. We want to see how early in the rotation he can go. Is it game 2? Is it game 3? Is it game 4? Just so we can get him ready. Do we need to use that off day, that first off day, to allow him to give him another extra day for him to? So there's all these moving parts that we want to see how they feel and how they, come back from their light BP tomorrow.
Okay.
Before we draw it up. But my first initial reaction is, it's 5, so you got that extra reliever. And then once we get twice through that rotation, then you could go 6, and we'll be in a much better spot.
I love the fact that at the beginning of spring, not that it was a surprise, but you said Hunter Brown's our guy.
He's our guy.
He's getting the ball opening day.
Yeah.
And tell us why you did that, because it kind of set the tone.
Yeah, because, if I would have been one of those guys that tweets, I would have tweeted it since the last game of last season. Right. Not knowing what's going to happen with Valdez. But once Valdez signed,
right.
and this is Hunter Brown's rotation. He is not only our best pitcher, but he is one of the best pitchers in the major leagues. Bottom. That just line, and you could take that to the bank. That's how good I feel about Hunter Brown. And 2, I want him to know, take over that clubhouse. You are our leader. When you take the mound, we are expected to win, and people will follow you, Hunter. So go out to the bullpens and stand up in meetings, and this is your rotation. This is your team. And we have position players who do that. Why not you be the spokesperson for the pitching side, right? Carlos does it for the position player. The floor is yours. Go ahead and step up and do it. So I wanted to get it out of the way, and it was not going to be a surprise. But for me, was getting him in the office for him was a big deal too. He was like he got fired up. He was like, man, Joe, this is great. Even though he knew he was going to be there, but it means a lot for me as a manager and for him as Joe. I always wanted to be an opening day starter. I said, dude, this is a big deal for a really good team, and we're going to get back in the postseason, so you're going to lead us back to the postseason.
I think about great opening day starters for the Astros. I think of Oswalt, and I think of Verlander.
Yeah.
And it feels like Hunter fits in that mode because he's a good tone setter.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of intimidating. He looks cocky. He looks like he wants to fight you.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to set a tone, isn't it?
I agree. And there's more in there. Hunter.
Yeah, he's going to get better.
Hunter is just going to continue to get better. He's going to continue to get better.
Joe Espada is our guest tonight on our first spring training Astroline show from Duffy's right here in downtown West Palm Beach. Want early access to purchase Astros tickets before the general public? Well, you can register now for exclusive presale access to Astros single game tickets by visiting astros.com/early access. We'll be back with more on Astroline after this on Sports Talk 790.
The 2026 Bruce Bolt College Classic benefiting the Astros Foundation returns to Daikin Park from February 27th through March 1st. The 3-day tournament is stacked with the top collegiate baseball programs, including Texas, UTSA, Ole Miss, Baylor, Ohio State, and the 2025 national runner-up Coastal Carolina. Single game, premium, and 3-day packages are available now. Learn more and purchase your tickets today at astros.com/college classic.
We welcome you back to Astroline. We are live and direct from Duffy's in downtown West Palm Beach. This is our first spring training show of the season in 2026. We had a lot of off-season shows, including one that Joe Espada was the co-host for back in Austin, Texas as part of our caravan tour. Hey, guess what? Daikin Park is slated to host Pool B play of the 2026 World Baseball Classic presented by Capital One. United States, Mexico, Brazil, Italy, and Great Britain clash from March 6th through March the 11th. You can visit astros.com/WBC to get tickets now. And then beyond that initial Pool B play, there will be quarterfinal games at Daikin Park as well. So you can go and get your tickets for that. The Astros have 3 different players right now that are scheduled to play in the WBC. We'll have Jeremy Pena, who will be ready to go. We'll have Zach DeZenzo, who will be ready to go for Team Italy right there at Daikin Park. And then we also have Shea Whitcomb ready to go for the World Baseball Classic. Joe, as you look ahead to your schedule and who plays when, how do you treat the WBC guys as opposed to guys who are just here getting ready for opening day?
Yeah, and we got to give a little shout-out to – I also got a couple of coaches who are participating in WBC. Omar Lopez, managing Team Venezuela. Tony Perichica will be going to Daikin.
Yep.
He's going to be coaching third base for Team Mexico. And Jason Bell is going to be with Team Israel.
Okay.
So let's see who gets home, who comes back first.
That'll be the walk of shame from the parking lot.
Yeah, there's some waging going in the clubhouse. So let's see who comes back first. But you mentioned about players. So my goal is trying to give those guys 15, 20 at bats before they go. Jeremy's going to be in the lineup on the 22nd, the 24th, 26th, and the 28th. His last day with us is going to be the 28th. Same thing with Wickham. Wickham's last day is going to be the 28th. I'm sorry, that was the sense. So Wickham's got to fly to Japan.
Wow.
So his last game is going to be on the 25th.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to give him some at-bats, a nice little runway here, 18, 20 at-bats, and get him ready.
What do you tell those guys before they go?
Go have fun.
That's it?
Go have fun. Yeah,
Yep.
It's a great tournament. Enjoy your time. And, we'll welcome you. When you guys come back, we'll be, we keep rolling. But go have a good time.
Speaking of Jeremy Pena, he last spring, I thought really you could kind of see the difference in his 2025 spring training from other years he had been in the batter's box before. What did you see that told you last year that he was going to have a breakout season?
You know what? It's less volume. He's more precise with his work. He's cleaner. He's more focused. So all the trying new things, all that stuff, it's not there anymore. Yeah. It's like, I know what I need to do, and I'm just going to go do it, right? If we see something that is not right, he can go and correct it right away. So great players are able to make adjustment rapidly, and that's what he does now. And right now you're watching taking BP, and you're like, oh, my, this guy's going to hit 30 homers. He's going to see you 30 back. Like he is getting to that level
really
of play. Oh. He's separating himself from the rest of the league, and especially in his position.
Specifically with Jeremy, I mean, a couple of years ago he was having a hard time breaking stuff off the outside corner.
Mm-hmm.
How does a guy get better at recognizing the spin and laying off of those pitches? How do they do it?
You know what? So he got better at it. Number one, he's one of the best fastballs hitters in the game. So you hammer the fastball early in the count, and you don't have to worry about those off-speed pitches out in the zone, right? So he's getting better at hitting early in the count the pitches that he wants.
Okay. And
then it stops you from chasing pitches that they're coming at some point, right? Number two, his preparation. He understands what the league is doing to him. His program is just more simpler. Like, he's just more simple of what he's looking for. When he watches video, there's not a lot of nonsense stuff that doesn't really matter for him to get ready. And when you simplify your process and your game plan,
Who taught him that?
I think he's just experienced. Talking to hitting coaches but also watching some really good hitters around him. The Yordan Alvarez, the Altuve. And Jeremy's always asking questions, and that's what has, separated him. Like I said, from the rest.
You mentioned Hunter Brown being named opening day starter, and you want to do that early because he's the leader of that group. And you also mentioned in the same breath that Carlos Correa is obviously the leader on the other side. And you lose a George Springer and you lose an Alex Bregman. And Altuve is a guy that leads by example, but he's not a true, rah-rah leader. Carlos brings a dynamic that really wasn't there before he arrived last year. You've had a lot of conversations with Carlos last year and this offseason. Are you excited to have him for the full year and making an impact in that clubhouse?
I am. And it's more for, especially more now that we miss the postseason.
Yeah.
This is when you need someone like that to really bring our level back up where we know he's there, right? So how we prepared, how we talk about our preparation, how consistent and disciplined we are with our preparation. And it's important to have Carlos just to make sure that, hey, this stuff is getting done. Mm-hmm. And if we do that and we stay on the field, there's no doubt in my mind that we'll win the West again.
What are those conversations like? We've heard that you've had multiple lunches through the offseason. How do they start?
You know what? Well, we start talking about our families. He's a great father, and we start talking about our kids and how he spends half of his morning just kind of wrestling or doing stuff with his kids, which is which is great because that's what that lunch is more about. Let's just talk family, and then we get down to business.
Yep.
But it's also ways for what do I need to be better as a manager, right? I've known Carlos for a very long time. Not only when I was with the Astros, but I only knew him from Puerto Rico. So I have a really long relationship with Carlos. So he knows me as a person. How can I be better? How can I be better in the clubhouse? How can I help you and help the players be better? So there's all these conversations, how spring training can be more efficient and we can help you or help the players be better. So all this stuff, it's come up in our conversation, and the feedback that I get from him and he gets from me.
He thinks way differently than most players.
He does. He does. And it's a good thing because he sees the game, he anticipates the game. He's just a very smart guy, right? And I'm always telling him, listen, you are so smart and you're always taking care of everyone. Make sure that you take care of yourself.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Make sure you take care of yourself first, because I need you to perform,
that's a great
and
point.
I need you to be the player that we all know to be. But so those players, they got responsibilities and they need to hold themselves accountable the same way you hold yourself accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you take care of yourself first before you extend your reach to the rest of the group.
Speaking of making yourself accountable, I thought Christian Walker, from the time he's joined this team, has been so accountable because he did not have the first half he wanted to last year. Coming over on a 3-year deal from Arizona, put up huge numbers with the Diamondbacks. Those in the first half were not the Christian Walker numbers we had seen before. The excitement level you have for him based on what you saw in the second half and maybe what you've seen early in the spring, where are we with Christian?
Our goal, and just watching him right now moving around, especially in the batter's box, how his body's moving, there's a lot of similarities of what he did in the second half. Okay. Number two, just watching him today throwing his baby around, there is that vibe that I think it does matter. And
there's a balance.
In us fathers, once you get the family around you, you start being more relaxed and understanding that there's more than just the game, and you're able to relax. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's about the family. Let me just relax and just have fun on the baseball field, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's going to help him. But if you really watch the way he's moving and just how he's treating live BPs, is much simpler, shorter swing. I think we could get the one that we saw all second half.
Yeah, and Sparky's been on a number of different teams, but for a guy who's been on in one organization and only known one team, and then to jump over to a new contract, there's a lot of pressure involved. Even if you have great baseball reference numbers, there's a lot of pressure involved.
Yeah, and it's not like he went from a winning club to the Astros are a championship caliber organization. It's a different ballgame, in my opinion, right? So he comes here, and I'm going to hit in the middle of his lineup. There's a contract. So there is some weight that comes to that. And I think he's done the best he could to handle that. And I think year 2 and year 3, he's going to be much better. Because I think once you get a taste of it, now you know, okay, now I know what I'm walking into. Now I got a better feel for what year 2 is going to look like.
I think, too, Joe, that since you've kind of experienced this with some players coming over, that you're only getting better at recognizing how to help different guys. And I would imagine somebody like Imai might have a tough time even just with culture coming over here and just trying to figure out how to do things, how to get to the ballpark and communicate. Well, what do you do? How do you step in?
I agree. And, the Imai, it's been fascinating just getting someone – because, I remember being with Masahiro Tanaka in New York, right? Imai is he's just more, there's more life in his personality, right? He's just a different in a good way from Tanaka. Masahiro was just business, serious.
Yep.
But there's something cool about Imai, and he's watching live BPs. He got a ton of questions. The other day he asked me, hey, Joe, let's go down and watch the minor leagues. So we got on the golf carts, and we just drove down on the minor leagues. He wanted to see some of the players down there.
Cool.
I'm like, sure. So that right there tells you he wants to know more about who we are as an organization, right? Like, okay, you guys are winning. We win because we need player development to be great, and this is what we do down here. So he's curious about our process, and we have to help him with his process so he could help us win games.
Tatsuya Imai. We're going to talk more about him. We're going to talk more about the starting rotation when we come back. That's a big theme in 2026 Astros Spring Training is who is going to be the starters when we get ready for opening day. As Joe said earlier, could be 5, could be 6 once we move into the first couple of weeks of the season. We'll talk starting pitching when we come back. This is Astroline from Duffy's in downtown West Palm Beach. You're listening to the official Astros Spring Training show on Sports Talk 790.
Houston, get ready as your Astros return to the Diamond in 2026. Ready to chase the fight and compete for baseball's biggest prize. First half single game tickets are on sale now, so grab yours today and don't miss the action. Witness every home run, defensive web gem, and walk-off live from Dyken Park.
Down the right field line, that's a base hit, and we're going home.
Lock in the best seats and catch the Yankees, Dodgers, Rangers, and more before it's too late.
Astros walk it off, 2-1.
Get tickets today by visiting astros.com/SGT.
Final segment of our first Astroline show from West Palm Beach, Florida. Astroline is your official spring training show from West Palm Beach, and we're here at Duffy's on Clematis Street in downtown West Palm, not only today, but a week from today and all throughout spring training, getting ready for opening day, the earliest opening day, I think, in Major League history, unless I'm making that up. March 26th is going to be opening day this year.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Hey, speaking of that, Astros season tickets, partial plans, mini plans, flex plans, they're all available now for the 2026 season, which starts on March 26th. Choose a plan that best fits your schedule or create your own. Learn more at astros.com/tickets. Joe Espada, our guest on the first show, and we have 3 members of his coaching staff here. 2 are new coaches here with the team, and also Omar Lopez is with us as well. So we thank Tim Costins for coming out, and also Anthony Iaposi and his family for coming out. We have a whole group of Astros people here. So, Joe, let's get into the big topic, which is your starting rotation. Mm-hmm. You and Dana Brown came up with a plan going into the offseason of let's get as many arms as we can because we saw what happened last year. It was the most pitchers used in Astros history with the exception of the first year of the Houston Astros back in 1965. You had guys go down all year long. You had to keep filling spaces. This year, I've got 11 or 12 names written down for potential starting rotation. You've got a lot of guys that are going for a starting role.
Yeah, and not only the quantity, but the quality. There's a bunch of good arms. This is going to be fun to figure this out. Like, we're going to be talking about this the whole entire spring. Some of these guys are going to go out, and you guys are going to go, Joe, who is this guy? Who's Tang? Who's Wise? Where this guy fits. Like, what are you going to do with, King, Susan, there's a lot of nice pieces. And how are we going to give them all innings, right? Because we are going to allow these guys to be starters. So Josh and I, we're going to get very creative in trying to get these guys in there. And then towards the end of spring, now we're going to start matching up some of these guys to where we envision their roles to be. But right now, we're just going to try to build these guys and try to give them multiple innings, and then we see where it takes us. But this is going to be really, really challenging.
Will some of this be determined by who you play early in the season?
You know what? It's going to be determined by who we play. It's going to be determined by how can our roster be functional, right? Who has
options?
Who has options and who doesn't, and how can we keep everyone healthy?
Yeah.
I think we learned a lot about our team last year. This marathon, we made adjustment how we're going to run this marathon, 2026.
You mentioned Tatsuya Imai earlier and where he fits into the scheme of things, and he's the most intriguing pitcher, I think, of this group because we really don't know much about him. When you have a week or two to go and then you see, all right, this pitcher's pitching behind Hunter Brown, that gives you an idea of how you're lining things up.
Right.
But when you're going into early spring training, how early do you want to get some of those guys in that 2, 3, 4 slot?
Yeah, so right now it's about building these guys up.
Okay.
The 2, 3, 4 slot, we could start doing that more towards the middle of March.
Okay.
We have a couple of off days. We want to see our opponents. We want to make sure that some of those teams are constructing their team so it gives us a good idea of what the Angels are going to look like, what the Red Sox are going to look like, right? You want to get out to a good start, but you got to be careful not trying to win every game in the beginning of the season because it can put you in a tough spot, middle and last part of the season. So we want to be smart. We want to build these guys up. We want to use the off days as ways to reset, like someone like Imai. Right? We just don't know how he's going to adjust to a major league schedule. So we want to make sure we do that. And our bullpen, we have to protect our back end of our bullpen. So having multiple guys that could give us 1+, and for example, if we're winning by 3 or 4 runs, can I give the ball to so-and-so and take us 2+, and that saves me from using multiple pitchers, right? Or we down a couple of runs, who can keep us in the game and keep us in the, give our offense an opportunity.
That's a huge role.
So there, and then if you have a 6-man rotation, there's potentially just one guy that can do that. With a 5-man rotation, you probably have 2 guys that can do that, can give us 1+ or 2 innings of work. So we have to be patient and we have to let this play out because we have a lot of guys that can fit that role.
Does this equation or this puzzle become more tricky because you have Arrighetti, McCullers, and Javier coming off injuries? Not that they finished the season with injuries, but they didn't pitch many innings last year.
And I expect them to be better, like in better health. I don't, last year there's always the concern, and this, Sparky, better than anyone. Can I spin my slider? I was talking to Javi today after his outing, and he looked so good. And the shape of his pitches, he looked like he was relaxed, and there was freedom behind every pitch because he's not concerned about the elbow. Even last year, there was this, can I really spin it? Can I let it rip,
question.
right? Now he's ripping the slider.
Yep.
So he's going to be better. McCullers, there's more conviction behind his pitches. Spencer, the same thing. So there is all these guys, and now how will all of them fit Burrows? You guys miss out his first live BP. He was unbelievable how good he was.
Really?
Yeah, he was good. Changeup, fastball. And, it's just super competitive. So, you have Imai, you have Hunter. There's all these guys that can pitch out of any rotation in the big leagues.
Yeah, we mentioned Imai being a guy who's intriguing, but Burrows is another guy who you could have him for a number of years. He's got a lot of team control, and what you saw initially really has excited you, it sounds like. Yeah,
and, excited me last year when we went to Pittsburgh, and I'm like, who the heck is this guy? Right?
What you found out.
Yeah, I'm like, Skeens who? I'm like, this guy's really good. So when we saw an opportunity to, trade for him, we were all excited, and now, he's been tremendous. Not only the stuff on the mound, but the human being. This guy is super competitive, and the Astros fans are going to be really happy every time this guy gets on the mound.
Sounds like bicep tendon with Josh Hader. Do you anticipate him, or are you just going to take it day by day? Do you anticipate him being late for the season?
Yeah, day by day, weeks by weeks. We want to make sure that he's throwing program. He's building up okay, and he's better every day. He comes in. He said, "Joe, I feel better today than I felt yesterday." So, fingers crossed. But you know how big he is to our bullpen.
Colton Gordon's going to get the ball on Saturday.
Yep.
He's maybe the only lefty who's got a shot to be in the starting rotation. So you're right-hand dominant in your starters.
Right.
But you're left-hand dominant a little bit. You're kind of 50-50. But your bullpen, like last year, Stephen Oker, what a year he had. Brian King, what a year he had. Obviously, Hader's at the back end of the bullpen, and hopefully Bennett Sousa's healthy and ready to go. This used to be a team without many lefty options. Now you have a whole bunch. So it's kind of a righty-dominant starter rotation, especially without Fromber, but it sounds like a possible lefty-dominant bullpen.
Yeah, and the lefties that could get righties out.
Yes.
So they could pitch a high-leverage spot.
Yep.
So they all look healthy. Sousa looks really, really good. Those guys look like they're in a really good spot to be our bridge to their Abreu's and the Haters.
Yep.
It's just trying to figure out the rest of those guys that can give you multiple innings, that they're super valuable to any pitching staff.
Joe, if you think back to 2 years ago, your first spring training, how are you different today than you were then?
Oh, man, what a good question, Sparky. I've learned a lot about myself. I learned about the importance of me being prepared, because decisions that I make today not only going to impact the team today, but they're going to impact the team in the future. Delegating responsibilities.
That was hard early.
Yes, it was. because I was the bench coach, the infield coach, and you have to let that go. Some of that work.
What's the most important part of your job then?
Part of my job is communicating with the players.
Okay.
I want the players to know their roles. I want the players to know why we do, and our commitment to winning, and the discipline, the sacrifices you have to make to win. And if they see that from me every single day, that consistency in my leadership, the players, they're going to go out and play hard, right?
Yeah.
And just letting the coaches let them do their job, right? But it was hard in the beginning because you want to be perfect and you want to do everything, but it doesn't work out. It doesn't work well that way.
You got to AAA as a player. As far as the information, technology, and all that stuff, do you feel like you could have gotten to the big leagues as a player if you would have known back then what you know now?
I think it would have helped. I think it would have helped. Kind of learning more about what I needed to do to be more of a complete player approach.
Interesting.
But I did have some injuries in the back end of my career, but I like the path that God kind of put me to get to the big league as a coach and manager, right?
Yep.
There's no regrets in that. I learned a lot about as a player, and I'm happy doing what I do right now, especially with the Astros.
You mentioned communication being such a big part of your job, and Sparky piggybacking on what he asked you about the difference between year 1 and year 3. That first speech of the spring, talk about tone setters. You said you wanted to set the tone with Hunter. That's a tone setter for the team. When you get the whole group around there, when you first got the job, now you knew these guys as the bench coach, but was that a big deal? Like, did you have notes, and where is your comfort level for this first speech this year as opposed to 3 years ago?
It makes it more comfortable when you know your audience, right?
Yeah.
When you're speaking to a group, you want to know what sticks. Stay out of this. They don't want to hear that. Their attention span is 2.5 minutes. Don't speak for 5, because if not, Altuve is going to be like, Joe, just cut it off, right? So they know this team knows how to win, right? I just want to make sure that we stay committed to winning, and don't let 2025 define that we're not a winning club anymore. No, we know why we did not make the postseason. We're going to address those issues, and we're going to get back on that podium and celebrate. That's our goal.
Okay, you've got some help. And I say that because I had 2 different guys last year tell me, who came over from other teams, say the difference in the Astros clubhouse compared to the other places I've been is that their best player, the face of the franchise, when a new guy comes onto the team, will go in his locker and sit down with them for an hour and get to know him on a personal level, and that's Altuve.
Yeah.
And he makes it really inclusive and makes guys feel like they're a part of it right away. He says those guys said they've never seen anything like that. And they said also that Pena has started to do that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's starting to do some of that, and you alluded to this, TK, earlier, how, Altuve is not that big rah-rah guy, but he does stuff like that
behind the scenes guy.
It matters. It matters more than getting in front of the room and saying something, right?
I can't imagine a guy like Altuve coming and talking to me for an hour.
For an hour, sitting in your locker and let's just bullshit for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. And I'm telling you, those players will remember that moment for the rest of their career.
Yeah.
Joe, we have about 2 minutes left. You've said multiple times, we're winning this division. Yeah. We're getting back to the postseason. Yeah. It's not just like you're saying with conviction.
Yeah.
Fans, as they get ready for 2026, you are as excited as you've been, it sounds like, in the 3 years you've been the manager.
Yeah, well, that's what the Astros do, right?
Yeah.
We our goal is to win the division, and we missed out on that. Yeah. And I think if we look at it any different way, we're not committed to winning.
Yeah.
There's no other way to look at it.
And you guys prepare very well. I feel like just having Carlos back too, I think he's going to make sure he's going to keep guys accountable to being prepared, right?
Yeah, and the preparation has always been there since I first got here. So it's about, when we take the field, we have to execute, right? We are well prepared now. It's about execution and doing the little things. Let's do them right. And and keeping the guys healthy. If we do those things and we play relaxed with freedom.
Let's talk about the little things.
Yes.
Base running.
Yes.
Great defense, being in the right positions. Great defense. Holding runners as pitchers. All those little things. Those are margin things.
Yeah.
But that can get you 3 more wins or 2 more wins if you do it right.
Or 1 more. That was the difference last year.
All you need is 1.
That's right. That's right.
That's the message, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and we learned that last year, right? Is it holding a runner? Is it, giving a team an extra 90? And we're addressing those things from the get-go. Today, when we do our live BPs, we have base runners on the bases. We have Omar calling slide steps. We've got guys throwing overs. We got the pitch clock going. We got the ABS system in there where we could challenge calls. We're trying to rehearse as game-like as possible. So then when the lights turn on, we perform.
Joe, the lights are turning on Saturday. Thank you for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. Joe Espada, our guest on our first Astroline from West Palm Beach, Florida. Along with my partner, Steve Sparks, I'm Todd Callis. Thanks to everybody who showed up. 3 members of Joe's coaching staff, G. Diaz, Stacy Gallagher, Rachel Caton, Rick Martinez, Juan Huetron. We got the whole contact crew here. Steve Perry's in the house. We thank you for all the Astros people that showed up tonight. Thank you for our fans as well. First game Saturday against the Nationals. Enjoy it right here on Sports Talk 790.
Astroline. You've been listening to Sports Talk 790 Astroline, the official preseason show of Astros baseball.
I love this city. I love this team.
Astroline on Sports Talk 790, home of the Stros.
See you later!
Get the hottest Astros gear straight from the source. Visit the Astros Centerfield Team Store for the best variety of jerseys, caps, collectibles, and more. We've got everything you'll need to show off your Astros fandom or surprise the Astros fan in your life. Stop by the Centerfield Team Store Monday through Saturday for the ultimate retail experience.
Fans are taking off their ball caps, holding them up high in the air.
View Team Store hours and find out more information at astros.com/team store.